beat DNS.
But they were top of the table with KT, and I know, like, yes, DNS aren't the hardest opponent, but they looked good. And we had a lot of high hopes. We were like, is this a new top two, KT and Nongshim? And they've just plummeted down the standings since then. It's rough to see. And even if they don't win the series, I just want to see them look competitive and look a bit more cohesive.
Yeah, I feel like those are issues you can't really solve immediately, to be honest. But
Brendan, I said they should just lock in. If they lock in, surely
just lock in. Okay,
yeah,
that easy.
Sit forward in your seat, lean forward, and really focus. That's how it works, right?
I think that guy in that meme is holding a controller, though. So I don't think anyone else. I don't think anyone here is playing with a controller
that we know of. You know, maybe they're hiding it under the table. We haven't seen.
Yeah.
So Seraphine banned to deny the Ashe Seraphine, and a lot of bot lane picks taken away. I feel like the Lulu, like Yunara Lulu, rises in priority here because that's available. And you can't really go Ezreal Nami in response. I imagine Corki Nami will be. I was going to say Ezreal Nico, you can't go in response. I imagine you'd go like Corki Nami in response to this, is what we often see into the Yunara Lulu. I do feel like Yunara Lulu often gets. Actually, forget that Nami's banned as well.
Yes.
So they can't even do that. Limited options into the Yunara Lulu, for being real.
Cassiopeia has really risen in priority. It's kind of crazy. I mean, Ryze has already played. It doesn't matter. They're just like, no, Cassiopeia strong. Deathfire touch, baby.
Yeah, she sings so well with that rune. So no Lucian Milio, no Ashe Seraphine, no Corki Nami, no Ezreal Nico, no Caitlyn. A lot of the options you would take into this Yunara Lulu have been taken away. They're going to... If they steal away the Yunara, I'm really hoping Nongshim slam Kog'Maw. Slam Kog'Maw.
Slam Kog'Maw.
Alternatively, you could go Ashe, because we've seen Ashe Lulu be pretty successful. No. But I prefer the Kog'Maw. Will they do it? That's the question.
I feel like it's also a good pick in a Cass. Pia.
Looking for the Nocturne first. Nocturne Lulu. We've seen that combo work to pretty good success so far.
Yeah.
And also a bit of dive threat onto the Yunara. And then they're going to pick Kog'Maw.
Surely. I think if you've already taken Lulu, I mean, they could go mid here, which is kind of the discussion.
I mean,
but
like whether you go Ashe or Kog'Maw, I don't mind either way. Even Sivir is playable, but I don't like them picking a non-AD carry because now your options really get thinned. You could have picked an AD carry who syncs up with Lulu, and instead you've just allowed them to ban away those options. So whether it's going to be Ashe or Lulu, they might just be banned before we go through the next rotation. Maybe you think, oh, well, we could still bring out, like, Aphelios, maybe Zeri. Maybe you think there's enough options. We'll see. We'll see if they're able to navigate this. BNK FEARX going for the Milio, though. Not a combo we often see with the Yunara, but a pick we know Kellin can play quite comfortably. Decent peel as well. And now BNK FEARX are going to ban 80 carries.
Yeah. And I suppose Nongshim are going to ban top lanes, but, like, I don't know. I just don't see a huge amount of value. They could have gotten a lot of value either by picking your mid laner or picking your AD carry, as you were saying, Aux. But instead, it's like, we're really going to get this Gnar into a very comfortable spot, which just doesn't feel as good in terms of draft priority.
I don't really understand the Akali ban when you're playing Cassio. We've seen a lot of Cassios just kind of run the lane, and it's difficult to dive into. I guess they're worried about the threat of, like, the Nocturne Akali. But this does free up Nongshim to pick whatever AD carry they want if they're not going to ban them, which is surprising to me. I thought that would have been a pretty straightforward play to go for. Xin Zhao ban makes sense, considering you have the Milio to back it up, and just working through the junglers that are left available.
Yeah.
Now I think it's a bit more difficult because you have one ban if you want to throw it towards AD carries.
Yeah, if you ban Ashe, they pick Cog. If you ban Cog, they pick Ashe. You're not really getting value out of that ban. So they're just going to ban Aphelios instead.
Yeah. So not going for either of the ones we initially mentioned, but the Aphelios was also another option. and going for the Vayne ban to try and keep the Gnar safe. I could see Clear, honestly, just going for Renekton in this matchup.
Or just play Kingen.
Yeah, I mean, Clear's
You know.
Kennen used to be pretty successful, but I feel like we've seen Renekton have that early pressure into Gnar.
Yeah.
And be good there, even though it's a matchup you typically pick the other way around. Raptors, Naafiri coming through, though.
Big dog.
That is one big dog.
And a lot of little dogs around the one big one.
True. Now, seeing what options they're going to select for AD carry and for mid, Cassiopeia, pretty strong in terms of lane pressure right now with the added power of the Blackfire.
Aux, who could have seen this coming?
Even. Wow. Yeah, they can just pick Kog'Maw.
Oh.
It's crazy they left that through the second rotation and they just get away with it. You know, that BNK FEARX just don't ban the Kog'Maw. That's insane to me. I'm glad they picked it, but it's insane that they didn't ban it. And Scout comes out with a Galio, which I feel like is a little risky into the Cassiopeia. You're obviously looking to have that roam pressure, but you can just get melted down in lane. I think you're kind of hoping the Cassio runs out of mana before you run out of health, in the early levels at least.
Yeah, and then obviously there's a lot of synergy with the Nocturne and the Kog'Maw, even the Gnar as well. Thinking about an Olaf.
Oh, looking for something more interesting than just the Renekton. You know what? Fair play. I'm so used to just these trade-offs in the LCK where it's like, oh, you picked this, I must pick this. This is the meta.
Yeah.
We don't branch out. The BNK FEARX saying, no, we'll actually pick the Olaf. There's a lot of CC on the enemy team. He does not care for it. The Milio buff as well syncs up well with him. And this might be an orange buff game. Naafiri Olaf, if I'm playing those, I'm going to try to kill that Gnar as much as possible. Especially if you can pull it off without Sponge and Scout moving over. To me, this feels like Nongshim going for the global mid-jungle to try and really play around that bot lane and ensure Diable and Pleata have a great time on pressure by the jungle. And the Gnar just felt like, yeah, we'll just pick a safe blind, but now you've been put in a position where you're pressured. You might get targeted, and we'll see if they're able to pull that off.
Yeah. I mean, you weren't going to get last pick anyway, so I suppose that's why they do go for that safe blind, but it just feels very ineffective. And, you know, the thing about this composition from Nongshim is that it really needs everybody to be on the same page. It's not a difficult one to play, but everybody needs to kind of be playing, you know, using their ultimates in tandem with each other. The Nocturne goes in, the Galio goes in. Everybody's on the same page. Nongshim haven't shown that as a team, so we really need to see them do that here as we hop onto the Rift for game number 2. All right, immediately I'm going to say this is not the right Kog'Maw skin, but Diable is known for kind of doing things his own way, so I can kind of understand why he did it, but it's not correct.
I don't know, I kind of like the Monarch skin. It's a bit of a classic. This was the OG Kog'Maw skin we used to see quite a lot back in the day when Kog Lulu was very popular.
Yeah, and then Kog'Maw came out, and there was no other option. As they are going to go in and do a bunch of damage. Just normal level 1 things we see nowadays.
Yeah, they kind of started the trade, and then Taeyoon finished the trade.
And that might happen again. Flash forward. Diable, in a bunch of trouble, is going to have to flash away from Taeyoon, who flashed on him. And immediately, Diable and Pleata do not have much pressure in this lane.
Yeah, I think overestimating their power at level 1. The big thing here is that they don't have the shield from the Lulu. They have the Glitter Lance. And a lot of the power of Kog Lulu, I don't know if you know this, but it comes from shielding the Kog'Maw so he gets picks to back up his auto attacks. They didn't do that, and obviously struggled massively in these trades. Taeyoon and Kellin fishing.
We definitely backed.
Yeah, there's a ward in the third brush. Oh, Pleata.
Oh, Pleata. Yeah, he is going to get hit by that one, be forced to flash away, and now Diable's like, well, I was going to back, but now I can't. And he's going to try to back again, but this is just going to get interrupted, I think. Okay, he's got shields. But that's barrier down now, and this bottom lane already is not looking very good for Nongshim.
Yeah. I'll be honest, just misplaying it. Just not playing the lane how it should be. You need a shield onto the Kog'Maw, and you should really be waiting for level 2. Level 3 as well is super strong for the Lulu. You know, you get access to Polymorph, you have the Glitterland slow, and you have the shield. But definitely level 2 they should have waited for before going so aggressive. Yeah, not having a good time already. And they're down barrier compared to Taeyoon, so a lot of pressure there. Mid lane going about how you would expect. The Galio getting chunked out by the Cassiopeia, but
Raptor
survive. Yeah, they have no flashes, by the way.
Yeah, Slurkle's gonna come out though, and immediately Diable and Pleata kind of already put on the back foot. And obviously no ults yet for Raptor, so it can be hard to kind of get on top of those two. So he's just gonna back. Just kidding, he's going to stay. I mean, are they expecting Sponge to gank here? Because, I mean, maybe you can set something up. Pleata is still level 2. Slurkle not gonna land.
This is just one of those timings where I feel like a jungler can spend however long here. You know, the camps are spawning on the top side. You don't have anything really to do, so offering the cover for his bot lane, and if something happened, then could potentially set up a play.
Yeah. Not the end of the world. Looks like top lane's going just about as you would expect it. Although Kingen hasn't been ganked yet, so we'll have to wait and see when that does happen. I guess there's potential in the future. Clear doesn't have TP, and he was backing, but he's going to stick around in the lane now. And they're still pushing forward into this. I mean, eventually your W runs out as well. The Slurkle is there, and Diable and Pleata both still don't have flash.
Yeah, gotta respect the fact that Taeyoon has barrier advantage, but also, you know, the cooldown of the Milio W is pretty long. I think once you force that, you can kind of disengage. There's a lot of trading power back to Taeyoon. And it feels like things not going so hot for the Nocturne bot lane here.
Yeah, and they really need their Kog'Maw to be doing things, to be somewhat fed in this game. Can't fall too far behind because really is the crux of the composition. It's not exactly like protect the Kog'Maw and he's the only source of damage, but he will be the main source, obviously.
It does feel like they're going to need to rely on the Galio Nocturne level 6 to disrupt this lane. It is a powerful combo, does have a lot of pressure. We'll see if they can make something happen. Sponge is still level 5, so it doesn't have that threat yet. It will help set some vision up here. And Raptors once again on the bot side of the map. It's a little bit of a discrepancy in terms of lane. We do have the Cole picked up by Taeyoon as well, but it's not the end of the world. But if a skirmish happens and Nocturne's bot lane loses out, the game might just be fried.
Yeah, you can't really afford to fall too far behind. I mean, Kingen is being pushed in on repeat, mid lane is being pushed in on repeat, and bot lane is losing. So, as Nocturne, I mean, if they get this Drake, this is a nice timing for them to say, okay, we'll get this Drake, back away, and hopefully not have to fight for the objective the next time around. At least they get that stacking.
Much earlier than the Drake's last game, which were pretty late in coming through. Chemtech Dragon seconds, no Chemtech Soul. See, things feel pretty precarious for Diable and Pleata here. Especially when Taeyoon has a passive stacked up.
Yeah.
Have to give him a good amount of respect.
At least they have their summoners back, and they have a decent amount of ward coverage
Sponge
too.
Found Raptor stealing away his red. Sponge so close to level 6. I thought that ward might have given it to him, but not quite.
Over the wall goes Raptor. I thought maybe he would just head top. He might still go there after the Krugs. We'll have to wait and see. As, yeah, going very aggressive here as Kingen is about to hit that Mega Gnar, and now Sponge is level 6, looking to come on over here. Clear gonna have to pull the trigger on this one. Has his Naafiri nearby, but that is Mega Gnar, as now the flash away. In he goes again, back to his Naafiri, as now Raptor is in the thick of things, but the Galio comes in, gets interrupted, but it does not matter, as Raptor will fall. It's 2 kills to Sponge just like that.
Already, this game is going far, far better for Sponge than game 1. managing to pick up 2 kills there in the play. The global pressure of the Nocturne being felt was a little bit dicey at times, but BNK FEARX not able to deal with the threat of the Nocturne in those extended fights. And we see Kingen has Boots of Swiftness, so are able to chase clear down, able to provide that threat. They dive in on him, but you know, some abilities missed there. Sponge not getting the value of the spell shield. But Raptor commits his damage on the Kingen super close to taking him down, but not getting the reset on Naafiri is so big, because the second ult charge gives you a big shield as well. And as soon as Kingen survives with the flash away, Raptor just knows he's cooked.
Yeah, clear. I mean, you were talking about abilities miss. He missed a couple of those undertows, and
I guess he threw them under their toes.
I guess he did. You know, Nocturne kind of just floats around.
Yeah.
Gnar, though, is very much like...
doesn't really have toes, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, he might. Is Nocturne like a ghost?
In that one skin, he is. Kind of like a specter.
Yeah. I don't really know what he is, but I do know if the MMO ever does come out that all the edgy kids will play.
He's a spooky guy, that's what we know.
Will play the Nocturne thing.
But do you think in the MMO you'll just be able to play as a champion?
No, I mean, you know, maybe something like Nocturne might be playable. Maybe it's a little bit...
It'll be like a Nocturne class?
Yeah, well...
Okay, this is definitely the ghost skin, though. If we're talking about Nocturne being a ghost. This is the ghost skin, the spooky Halloween one.
Yeah.
With the bed sheet.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of indicates he's not a real ghost. But I don't know.
All right, Ghost Police.
Okay, they're going to go in. There's the combo. As the Wild Growth is going to get in on a Taeyoon, who is just being hounded down by, funnily enough, not the Hound, just the Nocturne. Here comes Scout, as he says hello. It doesn't really do a whole lot, as there's the combo from Nongshim, and I mean, they're getting a lot of work done here in this early game. Yeah,
this is the pressure we need. This is Nongshim using those globals. I mean, at least one of them, and then the TP. Just apply pressure to the bot lane. 3-0 now for Sponge. Feels really good. Already has that Hex play online. We'll have a bunch of Ultima Hunter stacks as well, so that ult's going to be very short cooldown. They're just going for the play. Raptor's here. Ends up moving in, but doesn't really contribute much to the fight. He goes for Sponge here. I mean, Diable has summoners, but he was like the lower health target. But I think he just kind of wanted to disengage from the play. They were already on the back foot. Scout coming in. Ensure they weren't able to make anything off it. And that is kind of how mid lane has been, by the way, for Scout. He just like clears the wave and dashes away every time.
Yeah. That's his job. Just buy a cowl, go mid, take a bunch of damage, clear the wave, and
doesn't that cowl look
TP bot?
Look a little bit like he's bought it from Nocturne? You know, with his skin.
Does Nocturne sell merch?
Maybe. If he has a major part in the MMO, he might start selling merch.
He's just like a merchant. He's not actually a classic play. I sell cowls. It's very strange, Nocturne.
I mean, if you just talked about the edgy players, they would definitely buy them. Yeah. So, you know, there is a market for it.
I think it would help if we actually knew the lore behind Nocturne and weren't honestly, just guessing.
I think I prefer this lore, where he's a merchant selling Spectre's cowls. You know, he's just brought them from like the Ghost Realm. It's like, check these out.
They're special.
They're just a hoodie, does some ghost ones.
It's like they have special spooky powers, but it's just a hoodie.
Well, Scout fell for it.
Maybe Scout just thinks that Sponge will play better if he buys his merch.
Well, it's worked so far. He's 3-0.
They're looking for the second dragon now. Nongshim really trying to stake their claim over this objective. And, I mean, they're strong. They have Hexplate, but there's also Cyclosword here for Raptor.
Cyclosword's a big spike, honestly. They're going to look for a fight. They could go for it here.
It's a long dotted line. And Raptor can also just try to steal and then hop out, potentially, and he's not quite going to get there.
Okay, I definitely think he could have been more aggressive with his steal attempt there. I mean, Naafiri is so hard to pin down with the dash and the on-target abilities, but I guess he was a little concerned about the Nocturne flying in on him. Now VicLa has found a flank.
This is kind of interesting. I mean, he's just going to hop as the miasma comes out, and now the Olaf is in a lot of trouble, looking for that kill on a Kingen because he can't run away, and it is just Kingen to pick it up. As VicLa's like, well, my job here is done.
You know, sometimes we get these counters in the LCK. You know, we saw the Zyra into Orianna. We had Kingen's Diana into the Gwen.
We had Aurelia played.
Yes, Aurelia into Sion. Sometimes we get these counters that come out, and they just do not work very well. And right now, Clear, I mean, he's about to hit level 10, but he's currently 2 levels down. He's 0-2-0. He's 20 CS down.
And now he's TPing in the mid against Kog Lulu.
Oh, actually, he did hit level 10 there, okay. But he's down a level, down in gold, down in kills, down in items. I'm not being convinced here.
All right, they're looking for the play on a VicLa. The taunt comes in, and this Nocturne just keeps on picking up kills. This time it is Scout, though. That does take it down. And it always feels like Raptor's nearby, like trying to help and trying to do things, but not quite able to.
He could ult Scout.
Yeah, he could. Looks like he will do just that, as that will be the kill. But now the fear comes in, and he just knows that there's no real escape. He's going to try to flash as well, but yeah, eventually I think Sponge just gets him with the follow-up Q.
Can he dodge it?
Nope. Not going to happen. Sponge now 4-0 in this game.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say I was very critical of Sponge last game. After the game, before this game, during the game.
Yeah.
This is a better look on the Nocturne. So 4-0-1. Bit of redemption for that earlier performance. And just finding angles to get kills. This was a bit of a weird play. The hop from Kingen was great as the miasma comes down. So he just ends up out of it. And then, yeah, the Olaf, not altogether too convincing. And this play just layering the CC pretty well.
Yeah, you can see VicLa was trying to clear the wave because he knew it was coming, but like...
Yeah,
I think even without the wave, he dies. Raptor gets this kill. He's very slippery on the Naafiri, but can't really get away from Sponge.
Yeah, he committed so much, and the fact that Sponge has a flash to match his makes it really difficult. And also Nocturne gets the movement speed in his trail as well, so hard to disengage. That's the thing, it's like, you know, dashes, really strong, but just movement speed, just running fast in a straight line can sometimes beat it. Like having Ghost to run someone down when they have flash.
Yeah, movement speed very strong.
And it is a Cloud Soul, so there you go.
There you go.
Cloud Soul with Kog'Maw, kind of crazy, is you can kind of just use your ultimate as a way of proccing it. Like, not many champions have such on-demand way to proc the Cloud Soul, and also Kog'Maw with movement speed is just insane.
Yeah,
they
just RW and you run at them.
Yes.
All right, trying to lock down Kingen here. Petrifying gaze as you see Kingen's like, yeah, I know what's going on here.
I think with the fact that Cassiopeia is going to ult you when you're about to hit Mega Gnar, suspicious. A suspicious situation.
Yeah. Very strange. Clear could try to run down Scout here, who only has the Hallowed Radiance. He's going to flash under turret as the Nocturne's in the bottom lane. That is going to be the kill for both of them. As Sponge also got one down here in the bottom side. They take out VicLa.
Full magic resist Galio, not really holding up too well against the Olaf. Not the best lane assignment. And Galio is almost all CC. And even then, I feel like Clear ulted pretty late, and it just still wasn't enough.
Yeah, things are going really well for Nongshim. They still are. They're still in the lead. It just feels like, you know, we saw, you know, when Aurelia was picked into Sion, it just, like, disappeared from the game. Like, it was just gone. This is giving Olaf a chance to now come back into the game and actually be a champion.
So he still gets knocked up by the E and ults, like, a little bit late. But then here, Scout just can't really do anything. Has no cooldowns left. And then this is very straightforward. I mean, I fed Nocturne so frustrating because the fact you can just dive on someone and burst them out, just burn through the health bar, makes it so much harder to deal with, rather than just, you know, that Nocturne who goes in to assist and needs the backup. He can be very independent. Obviously had the backup there after Galio, but he is just getting stronger and stronger with all these kills.
And you can see Nongshim, they're trying to set up for this Drake now. which just went live. BNK FEARX, though, as a team, looking to group up mid and get some prio from there, but you can see that most of the vision in favor of Nongshim here. And maybe they just go for the Rift Herald instead? I'm not 100% sure, as they're not challenging this dragon. They're just going to all hang out mid and have some tea.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Herald up and available. They want to lean towards it. Don't think Nongshim desperately need to prioritize it. I mean, getting the third dragon puts them in a really great spot. They can kind of just slow play this game from here and lean towards the soul. But still having all that agency from Sponge being fed in this Nocturne means BNK FEARX have to be a little bit hesitant when they make plays. They're the ones moving over to the Herald and starting this. Sponge just reset and picked up his second item. And it's a Nocturne, so he can get back here pretty quickly. Not sure he'll be in time for the Herald, but I think Nongshim are kind of a little bit whatever about it.
Diable and Pleata just pushing mid, and it doesn't look like they're going to be punished really at all. And much like Nongshim just kind of took the Drake for free, it does look like BNK FEARX are just able to get that objective for free, the Rift Heralds.
Yeah, do you see King getting some pressure on the bot side in return? Picks up that tower. And I think we'll see what BNK FEARX can do with the Herald. You really need to win this next dragon fight, so maybe it ends up being a combat Herald. Although they did take it quite a bit before the dragon.
Most gold in the game goes to Sponge. And it really does feel like the chronicler adage of Sponge, where either he's totally useless or he's taking over the game, is really coming true, at least in this series. I wouldn't say that it's come true recently, but in this one it is very apparent, especially from game 1 to game 2. So really a lot does hinge on Sponge for now. He's very powerful. It's going to kind of bridge the gap for Diable to pick up his next couple of items, just the strength of the Nocturne and the fact that they were able to utilize it to get a lot of these early Drakes.
Yeah, I think they're probably just going to throw the Herald down mid because, unfortunately, the Eye is going to, I believe, time out before the Dragon even spawns in. So, kind of hard to force a fight to make the Combat Herald get used.
So a lot of
keeps putting up pressure in these side lanes. You know, we saw Scout obviously struggling against the Olaf, but Kingen is pretty far ahead. Having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kingen and Mini Gnar with no rage built up, and Claire walks up to him and just knows he can't do anything. Not a good spot to be in for the Olaf. That's another tower picked up by the Gnar. Pretty sizable lead right now. I think it's going to come down to the next team fight in 2 minutes. We have 2-item spike from Taeyoon with the Kraken Slayer and the Fiendish Bolts. So a good spike for this Yunara.
Yeah, he's going to be spiking. Our junglers both already have a couple of items. Got the Serpent's Fang here from Raptor.
I mean, pretty good value into the Lulu. There's also Sterak's from Kingen. Like Serpent's Fang, if there is a reason to build it on a lethality champion, it's just high value because the stats are pretty good in general. And the shielding it can reduce is crazy.
They're just kind of freezing the wave up in the top lane, where he was for a moment there. Kind of difficult to do with the Strike Breaker as Olaf, but he was keeping it in front of his turret for just a moment. And Raptor's like, man, I gotta try to help you get through your lane against the Gnar, but also the rest of the team needs me. Because at this moment, it really feels like he's, you know, even though Raptor's very far behind Sponge, he's like kind of the one guy who's got a couple items and can make things happen. So really kind of looking towards him. So we do have the Drake spawning in 50 seconds. Decent trade here from Taeyoon in mid.
$40. Diable taking some heavy trades on the losing end of that, to be honest. And the Oblivion Orb from the Milio helping to apply the Grievous wounds. Not a ton of healing on Diable, but Yeah, 27 seconds. Both AD carriers capable of pumping out a ton of damage, but I think Sponge is the major threat right now. Can BNK FEARX deal with him, peel him? We just had 2 items picked up. The Seraphs picked up the Cassiopeia, fully stacked. The Hex play for Olaf, a big spike as well. Both teams heavily contesting this mid-prio. And Kingen getting chunked pretty hard by the Naafiri. Oh, they're just going.
Okay. They're going to get the flash out of Cassiopeia, but I mean, the paranoia is going to be down.
Yeah, this is a good trade for BNK FEARX. Even though the flash is longer cooldown, when we think about this singular fight, paranoia is higher value than the Cassiopeia flash. That being said, the paranoia is pretty short cooldown. It's not going to be up in time, though.
Yeah. So
but the Combat Herald actually lasted long enough. I thought it was less time than
lasts pretty long. And you can see some chunking out already happening. Scout just getting ready to ult into the fight. As Raptor's like, here I go.
Not the highest value.
Yeah, he went, and now he has to flash over the wall to try to get the smite, and he will be able to as the Miasma gonna zone Sponge out pretty well. The Galio ult does come in. By the way, Kingen is dead. He is the first one to go down. Also Sponge very low. Taunt gonna be used. Doesn't hit anyone, and now Raptor's looking to get in there. But has to be a little bit careful. 4 members of Nongshim all grouped up. But maybe looking for Sponge, that would be a very excellent shutdown. As he gets in, he gets out, as the big dog does. But that is going to be the flash away from Sponge.
Bit of a weird one, I'll be honest. The Dragon's picked up by BNK FEARX, which is huge. We see Kingen getting kind of shredded by VicLa. But the...
yeah, I think he... okay, 1 hit.
Okay.
He's dead.
This has certainly been a bit of a strange game. The setup there from Nongshim, again, no paranoia. There's a threat of this Herald, but then it just kind of swings around and misses everyone and goes into a wall.
Zoning Herald.
Yeah, and then Scout's on a flank, Kingen's on a flank, but VicLa just shreds Kingen, forces him out of the fight. Scout kind of just leaves, then ults in, but it wasn't ulting in on an engage, it was just ulting in on a retreat, so...
Yeah.
And now they're starting Baron.
They're trying to go in onto VicLa as he is going to get quite knocked up here. A lot of damage going into the Cassiopeia, and that will be good for a kill here for Nongshim. Taeyoon is trying to frontline, but Diable does a good job of trading that back. Diable pretty low himself, but he has barrier. Scout now on the flank. But, yeah, that was all before Clear was actually back up and capable of fighting.
Now we're kind of seeing the long-term payoff of burning the flash on VicLa. You know, in the short term, not having the paranoia for that previous fight definitely hit Nongshim pretty hard. But here, VicLa not having the flash makes him a vulnerable target. But you see Raptor secure in the Scuttle Crab, so limited vision from Nongshim in the area. He's looking for more, though.
Yeah, this is the thing about Raptor again. He was down versus Sponge. But he still has the capability to make waves on this Naafiri, especially before the AD carries really take over the game in terms of damage. As this is pressing all their buttons on VicLa.
Yep, able to pick him apart here. Not much you can do to escape the Nocturne into the Lulu combo for the ultimate, and then Scout buys time for the rest of them to follow up. Yeah, I'm kind of confused how Raptor knew the health of that Krug, because I don't think he had vision over the wall. I didn't think he had vision.
Yeah. It didn't look like he did.
Yeah, just a crazy guess. Who knows? Anyway, see Nongshim trying to push up in the mid lane. Cassiopeia still down flash, but keeping this mid tower alive gives her so much to just play around, be in a defensive position. After doing a lot of damage with that Q.
Yeah. I feel like Kingen's style of playing Gnar is very reckless. Like, he will put his body on the line, he will frontline for the team, and then he'll hit Mega Gnar at the exact right moment, right before they kill him, and then, like, hit 3 people to the wall. As here's the combo once again, straight into the Galio as well, but a lot of health being healed here by VicLa. Eventually, he does go down, but look at this! As Sponge is alone in the back line, and everybody else got shredded by Taeyoon, as they went a little bit too deep just to kill VicLa.
And look at the Olaf.
Now the Olaf is actually doing things. He gets to play the game. Look at Olaf go. Wow.
You know what? Perhaps I judged too soon on the Olaf. Clear bouncing back in a big way in this team fight. And Nongshim, a game that looked like they had everything in their hands, suddenly falls apart. A big factor here is the tower being available behind them. So they engage like this onto the Cassiopeia. The layered CC doesn't give much chance for VicLa to function. But the problem is Sponge then goes aggressive on Taeyoon, and Taeyoon just retreats to the tower. And Sponge can't chase any further, ends up getting shredded down. The Olaf just runs through. A Lulu and a Galio into Olaf is a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
Like, you offer CC, and he does not care. So despite everything, despite how favored towards Nongshim this early game was, they have lost control of this game, it feels.
Yeah.
Dragon in 30 seconds, but it doesn't look like Nongshim are going to move over here.
I mean, this is the thing about Nongshim's composition is it's very straightforward. You're going in a straight line directly at a Cassiopeia, and VicLa's behind, right? But he hits this gigantic petrifying gaze. I think he actually hit Diable, and Diable just immediately died afterwards. So it's like you're going all in onto one of the best disengaging champs in the game. That's why I was thinking in the draft, maybe they could just pick Kingen. You know, it felt pretty good into the Gnar that was already shown. The Olaf obviously has its benefits, and we've seen some of them in this game. He did fall very far behind. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like you're going straight line into VicLa, and yeah, you eventually take him out, but like, there are other carries in this lineup, and you can't just all look directly at Cassiopeia.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what's going to happen.
The petrifying gaze on the Kog'Maw was massive. Now they have a Mikhail's available, but you know, we saw Diable sit that CC. Clay just came over and finished him off.
Especially when the wild growth is being used for engage, which makes sense, but also then you just don't have it to potentially keep Diable alive.
Yeah, can't really afford to be hit by the Cassiopeia ultimate. But now, again, the Mikhail's is there as the backup, but has the game fallen too quickly away from them?
This is also what I was talking about in the draft from Nongshim, is like this comp, it's kind of very obvious what it does. You all use your ults in tandem, you provide a front line for the Kog'Maw, and you win the game front to back. But it requires a certain level of teamwork for everybody to press their buttons at the same time and acquire the right targets that Nongshim have shown, I feel like, up until this point. But yeah, that last team fight was pretty rough.
And with BNK FEARX stacking up the dragons, you know, they're still a while away from Seoul, but Nongshim just being denied. I feel like with the current state of the individual dragons, they just don't offer that much for the most part. Oh, nice wild growth from Pleata will disrupt Raptor's ultimate, so he's not a threat. But yeah, I feel like the individual dragons just don't offer too much, so being 3 out of 4, it only matters if you get the 4.
Yeah, it's very true. The individual Drakes themselves not going to be a huge difference maker. And all of a sudden, just like that, I mean, one big team fight into a Baron. BNK FEARX mainly in the lead here. There are definitely still ways for Nongshim to press their buttons even from behind. But definitely not going to be as easy as it may have been. We're going to try to siege this turret with the last dying seconds.
Kingen's got Mega, they might just go.
Gotta try something. Well, maybe not that. As he went, but nobody followed, and he went out.
When I said they might just go, I did think it would be Nongshim as a whole, not just Kingen. Another problem is they don't have any deep wards behind them, so I feel like a Galio TP flank would be pretty good, but that's not an option. You can't just manifest a ward behind them.
Yeah. It feels like sometimes when teams are in slumps, it feels like when you're very far ahead and you want to all dive the fountain at once, and it's all a joke, and like maybe one guy goes and he gets kind of baited out. But actually this is in the bad way where, yeah, Kingen like kind of gets baited out into going in, but nobody follows because the teamwork just isn't there.
Yeah.
You don't have that belief in your teammates that everybody's going to be on the same page. And kind of that trust issue, not being able to make those trust falls, can really hurt the team.
Got to be decisive. I think that's what our top teams do far more and far better than some of our weaker teams, is just being decisive about the plays they make. Even like a bad call, I mean, I don't know about a bad call, but even like a mediocre call done as a team and done decisively can just outdo trying to figure out what the best case scenario is and then not actually doing anything.
Yeah.
And I think Nongshim patiently waiting for that chance. But if the game keeps going in this direction, might just not get a chance. You have to make something happen. It's a minute 20 on both Dragon and Baron. Once again, going to be a potential soul for Nongshim, but a big team fight win could lead to the Baron as well. Will they make something happen? Will they start the fight? Find the angle?
Yeah, it feels pretty difficult to do so. I mean, I feel like Kingen's always been present with a Gnar bar ready to go, but actually have to go together. I think that BNK FEARX are doing a good job of just pushing all the waves in and making sure they have a lot of map control and utilize this lead that they have right before the objectives spawn.
45 seconds. No wards at all really towards the Dragon Pit. Pleata gets one down in that brush, but very difficult for him to push in solo. It looks like they're just giving it again. At some point, they need to find a fight.
I mean, maybe at least they can push in as a team and take some Baron vision as this is happening. I mean, one individual Drake isn't going to be the end of the world, but you are right. They do have to do something, and they have pushed in towards the Baron area.
Yeah, I agree with the one individual Drake not being that meaningful, but they have given over the last two. This will be a third.
Yes, true.
Eventually, Dragons do become relevant.
All right, they've heard you.
Okay, they're moving over.
Nongshim are ready to go. Diable's frontlining takes a big chunk of damage.
Yeah, the Cassiopeia is so scary to deal with.
I mean, that was like 1 Q and 1 E. It wasn't even like a crazy rotation. Diable does have a lot of shields and stuff like that, so surely he'll be okay, right? He's already taken a lot of damage. Sponge goes in, he's got the Galio, and there's the follow-up. We do not have an R-bar right now, so the timing not exactly ideal. Going down should be Diable at this point, as in goes the Olaf, and out goes the Olaf. Zoning Olaf, good job, Olaf. Taeyoon now, he's got that front line, he's pushing forward. They took out Sponge, and now the rest of the Nongshim is just on the escape. Raptor here on the side. They get the taunt down onto Taeyoon, who gets extremely low but still stays alive, as nobody's really able to follow up after the fact. And Scout's like, wow.
Wait, Clear's back.
Yeah, Clear actually TP's back into the play with that long TP timer that he's got, and he's able to get the kill on a Scout.
They just get cleaned up. Dragon secured by BNK FEARX, and now even in kills, 5,000 gold up. Nongshim with a pretty half-hearted attempt at that fight, and BNK FEARX just cut them into pieces. The Diable's trying to get poked down, but he's against an AD carry and a Cassiopeia. Very hard to win that. And then Sponge ults in at like 20% HP. Raptor just hops over and finishes him off. VicLa flashes out of the CC from the Galio. And it's like, okay. Diable's getting chunked and run down by Olaf. Sponge is alone in the middle of 4. And then it just comes to the chase down, and that's Baron.
Okay, well, nice try by Sponge. Honestly, I think you do kind of have to send this, especially because there's no, other objective that they can get while he's down.
Yeah, a little bit late, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Contest that one. Game 1, there was definitely some frustrations, and it's a pretty poor jungle performance, but this game started so well for Nongshim. It's almost more frustrating because of that.
Yeah.
They've really struggled to maintain any sort of semblance of lead they've had earlier. Now are just firmly out of the driver's seat. Not even in the car anymore. They've been left on the roadside.
Yeah.
In the dust.
Nobody and nothing in sight. Yeah, it just feels like this is one of the frustrations you run into when you're a slumping team, where it just feels like nothing is going right. We know that the individual parts and even the parts together are better than this. We've seen it. But we're not seeing it currently. So BNK FEARX, some struggles for them. Wasn't the cleanness way to make their way to a potential victory here if they end up cleaning up this game. But a win's a win, I suppose. If they do get it. Clear's on the flank. He's looking to be zoning Olaf again. It's been very fun to watch him try to have an impact on this game. Bit of poke being traded between the two of them. And I feel like Diable's realized that, okay, I can't quite position as aggressively as I was before. Or I thought he realized it. And now he's going to position aggressively once again.
Trying to get those autos in, but so far behind. Oh, going in.
Going in and going out. He
Wow.
dies like so quickly now. It's kind of incredible. I think the Nocturne is kind of expired in this game, unfortunately.
I think the game might have expired.
Yeah. It is what it is, as they say.
It was us thinking this might be a 6-game day. Nongshim really made the early game competitive, this one, but
oh, there's a TP behind them. Kingen with GA and Mega Gnar to come in. He's going to get chunked out big time. Doesn't do a whole lot. Lands a stun on a VicLa, and that's about it. And VicLa, and clear actually, just going to run forward and actually get a bunch of damage done onto Diable. Zone him away as they look to try to end this game. Got to just push in. Scout just TP'd from somewhere, not sure exactly where. Diable trying to get in there, not even able to take out VicLa, and that is going to be the end of this series. BNK FEARX do pick up the 2-0 tonight over Nongshim.
an unfortunate game for Nongshim. A good start, but just couldn't translate it, couldn't continue the pressure, and BNK FEARX held strong. They get the 2-0.